I am making this video especially for my mom and for my Nana and for all my relatives on my mom's side and of course my siblings. I didn't think I'd get this emotional about seeing this place. This is Stalag Luft 3, the prisoner of war camp that Papa stayed in during World War II. The place that he stayed at now is all in ruins. After the war, they took apart all of the bunks, all of the barracks that were made of wood, and now you can see that it's mostly just forest. They do have some monuments over in the north compound where the Great Escape happened, but this is a part that they don't normally show to tourists. But the tour guide, who was amazing, gave us a private tour. He brought us out here to show exactly where Grandpa, or where Papa would have been, Papa Cecil Grant Ash would have been. And this is probably the most amazing ruins that they have here. I don't know if you can see on this side there's some bricks, and on that side there are some bricks. This is the entrance to the theater. If you read in Papa's autobiography, it talks about that he saw some performances during Christmas, that they even made makeshift costumes, and they had a marvelous variety show of Christmas performances. So this was the entrance. They'd walk up this ramp to the entrance, and this was one of the walls here, the brick wall. Let's see if I can get myself in there, into the theater without dying. Here we go. So, inside the theater, they would come down these steps here. There's no steps there anymore, but you can see where the steps would have been. And this slope here, this hill, is where the seats would have been. And everybody sat a bit. It fit about 350 people. So whenever they did a show, they would do it 4 or 5 times because there was 2,000 people at a time or more in the West Compound. And I'm walking right now in the theater that Papa would have seen shows in. You can see one of the walls over here. And the back of the theater is over there. It's covered in trees. It's a pretty big place. It's kind of hard to see the back of the theater. But that is where the stage would have been. So you can see the walls all along the side here. And looking back at the steps, the entrance down, and this slope here is where the seats would have been. Really just incredible to stand here where Papa would have been, you know, like 75 years ago. Let's see if I can find my way out. There's not a lot of structures that are left, but one that's mostly intact is the fire pool. They had in each compound a pool filled with water so that if there was a fire, remember all of the barracks were wood, so they needed a bunch of water to keep in this fire pool, so if there ever was a fire, the soldiers could go and get the water from the fire pool. We're almost there. You can see the edge of it here. And the fire pool, you can kind of see the structure here. It's got these slanted walls right here. And I don't know if you can see, it goes all the way over there. I mean, it's a pretty significant sized pool, but you know, there were thousands of soldiers and dozens of giant wooden barracks, so it makes sense that they would have this big fire pool. So Papa would have walked past this almost every day because his barracks are just over here. So in this direction there is the ruins of an outdoor latrine. They had one toilet to share in their barracks, but they also had outdoor latrines to use during the day. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So in here Right there, there's some of the wall, some of the ruins of the latrine. And some more bits of the latrine here. There's some bricks from the latrine, so I mean, I guess this is where Papa did his business. Is right here with the outdoor latrine. Alright, so over there, if you can see in the distance, that's the wall of the theater. Right there through the trees is the fire pool. Here's the latrine, and if we walk this direction, this is where Papa's barracks were. Now the tour guide said there's nothing left over from these barracks. Everything was flattened after the war. All of the wooden structures, are gone. But right on the other side of this little road here, this right here is where Papa's barracks would have stood. He stayed in a room with 12 people, 6 bunk beds. Slept right in this area here. And it's quite surreal to be here. If you haven't read it recently, Papa's autobiography, chapter 6, that's where it talks about his stay in Stalag Luft 3. That's about all I can remember, and I do have some pictures from the museum if you're interested in seeing those. Thanks. Bye.